Data fetching is one of the most common aspects when building out an application. Nuxt uses the useFetch library, which gets exposed as the fetch utility to help make HTTP requests. Nuxt also provides two composables called useAsyncData and useFetch to assist with fetching our data. The reason why Nuxt provides these composables instead of just using the fetch utility is to prevent data from being fetched twice. We learned early on in the course that Nuxt runs on universal rendering, where the initial render happens on the server, and once the application becomes hydrated, all the rendering happens on the client. On this initial load, if you were to use the fetch utility to fetch your data, then you may end up fetching it twice. So to prevent this behavior from happening, Nuxt created these two composables. Once the request to fetch the data happens on the server, these composables then forward the payload to the client instead of refetching the data once the application becomes hydrated. Now, the useAsyncData and useFetch composable are nearly identical. They both do the same thing and they help us fetch data within our Nuxt application. useAsyncData accepts a unique key as the first argument, a function handler as a second, and then the third optional parameter is for some options. And within the function handler, what we can do is use the fetch utility to then make our API request. Now, useFetch essentially does the same thing, except it's a shorthand for the most basic usage. So instead of passing a key and a function handler, you can just pass in the endpoint, and you also have the option to pass in some options. And when we make these requests using these composables, we get a few items returned back which we can then destructure. So as you can see in this example, we get back data, status, and error, which are all returned as view refs. So to use or access this content within our script, we'll need to access these by appending .value on the end of them. Now, in addition to those, we also get back a few functions to refresh the data as well as clear it. And in the next lesson, we'll start to work with some of these return values. So for the most part, when fetching data, we can mainly opt to use a shorthand useFetch. However, there are times where the data fetching might be a bit more complex, or you may need to fetch your data from a third-party service like Supabase, and in those cases, you can then opt for the useAsyncData composable. And throughout this course, we'll be using both of these composables, as well as a handful of the options that are available for them. Alright, so now that we have a basic understanding of how data fetching works within Nuxt, let's begin to fetch some data to populate our application. Now, to populate this application with recipes, we're going to be using the dummy JSON API, and they have an endpoint to retrieve recipes. So what we want to do is copy this endpoint to get all the recipes, and back within our index.view file, which is where we want to retrieve these recipes, inside of our script, we either want to use the useFetch or useAsyncData composable to fetch our recipes. Now, for the sake of learning purposes, I'm going to show you how we can use both of these composables to fetch our data. So first off, let's start off with the useAsyncData composable. So we'll want to create a new variable, and we can destructure the response. So the two things that we're going to be using for this tutorial are going to be the data and then also the error. So we'll want to set our variables equal to the useAsyncData composable like this. And remember, this accepts a few parameters. Now, the first one's going to be a unique key, so we can just call this recipes. And the second thing that we want to pass is going to be our function handler. Now, inside of here, or in this function, what we want to do is we just want to use our fetch utility, and then we want to paste in that URL we copied a few moments ago from the dummy JSON to get all the recipes. Now, one thing we also want to do is, because by default, this API endpoint is going to return back 30 recipes. We don't need that many, so we want to limit this. So we can do question mark and do limit and set this equal to 12. And we also want to await this to finish before we render out the page. So in front of the composable itself, we can use the keyword of await. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention since we added our await keyword to our composable is that under the hood, Nuxt actually uses view suspense component. And what this does is it waits for all the asynchronous tasks to finish before navigating to that particular page. Now, to view the response that we get from our API, you may be tempted to log this out within the console, which we could in fact do. However, there's a much better way to view the response from our API with a module that gets installed when we create our Nuxt project called the Nuxt DevTools. And within the Nuxt configuration file, you may have noticed that we have this property called DevTools, and this property accepts an object, and within here we have another property called enabled, and this is set to true, and this enables the Nuxt DevTools, which are going to provide you a lot of insight into your Nuxt application. Now, to access the Nuxt DevTools, you may have noticed on the bottom of our browser we have this Nuxt logo, so when we hover over it and we click on the Nuxt icon, this is going to bring up the Nuxt DevTools. Now, we're not going to be doing a deep dive into these within this particular lesson, but what I want to show you is how we can access the payload within the DevTools. So on the side, we have a whole bunch of different tabs, and the one we want to look for is going to be the payload tab, which is right here. So if you select on this, you can see that we have our key that we gave it called recipes. So if we expand this, you can see we have our response from our API. So we have all of our recipes inside of this array, and then we have a few other things that get returned within that API request. Now, not only does this tooling give you a very nice way to visually see your API response, it also does something pretty cool. So on the right-hand side of our recipes, we have a few options, and one of them is to generate a data schema. So if we select on this, you can see it's going to provide us a schema for properly typing out this response and also the recipe. So we have an interface called recipes, which is going to be for the API response. And we also have an interface for the recipe itself, which we'll be using both of these to properly type out things within our application. So now that we have seen our request is working properly, as I mentioned, I wanted to show you how we could use both the useAsyncData composable and the useFetch composable to fetch our recipes. So beneath the useAsyncData composable, let's fetch our data using useFetch. So what we'll do is we'll create another variable, which we'll just structure. And then again, we'll get out the data and then the error. And then we want to set this equal to await, and then we want to use the useFetch composable. And we'll just want to copy the API endpoint that we have inside of our fetch utility, and then paste it in as the first parameter here inside of the useFetch composable. And this is all that we need to do when using the useFetch composable. So as you can see, it's going to be a little bit simpler for the basic usage when fetching data inside of a Nuxt application. And for this project, since we're just going to be doing basic data fetching, we can opt to use the shorthand or the useFetch composable to fetch our data. So we can just go ahead and remove the useAsyncData composable. So now that we have our recipe data fetch, we'll want to use this data to populate our UI with recipes. So what we're going to do is head over to the GitHub repo, and we're going to go to our index page, and we want to copy this section right here with all the markup for our recipe card. So we can copy this, and then we can paste this below the section for our hero inside of our index.view file. Now within this markup that we pasted in, we have this div right here, which is going to act as our grid container for laying out all of the recipe cards. And within this grid container right now, we just have a sample for the recipe card that we're going to be populating with our recipe data. So what we want to do is you want to create a recipe card for each recipe that we have in our recipes array. So how we can do that is by using what is called the v-for loop. And what this allows you to do is iterate over an array, and for each item that is within that array, we can generate a block of content. So for each recipe that we have in that recipe array, we can generate the markup for our recipe card. So on our div for the recipe card, we just want to add the v-for directive. Now what the v-for directive accepts is going to be a param, and then we want to indicate the array that we want to iterate over. So for the param, we'll call this recipes, and then we want to say in, and then we want to reference our data, and then we want to say .recipes. And here inside of our application, you can now see we have 12 of these recipe cards being generated because we have 12 within our recipes array. Now, as you'll see right now, because we are using TypeScript within this file, we're going to have an error that says data is a type of unknown. So what we want to do before we go any farther with populating our UI is ensure that we have everything typed properly. So what we want to do is within our recipe app folder, we want to create a new folder, and we'll call this types. And within this folder, we'll just create a new file called types.ts. Now back inside of the application, we can gain access to these types by selecting on the Nuxt DevTools, and then we can look at our payload, and then we can select on the generate data schema, and you can see we have the interfaces right here. So what we can do is we can copy these, and then we can head back over to our application and we can paste these in. And we'll just want to make a few changes. So first off, let's change the interface name to recipe response like this. And then for the difficulty, we'll just change this to be a string. Now to use these inside of our file, we're going to need to import them. So we'll say import, and then we'll do our type. And this is called recipe response. And this is going to be located inside of our types folder. And once we have that imported, all we want to do is assign this type to our useFetch composable. And now as you can see, the error has changed to be that data is possibly undefined. So to fix this, we can use the optional chaining operator, which is going to be question mark, to say that this might be undefined, and that should fix our TypeScript error. Now that everything is properly typed out, we can begin to populate our recipe card with the recipe data. So the first thing I want to do is for the param we called recipes, we just want to have this be recipe. So how the v-for loop works is we can use our recipe param to access all the information about that particular recipe. So for example, we have this image tag, which we're going to want to convert to be using the Nuxt image component. So we'll update the native image tag to use the Nuxt image component like this. Now, what we want to do is for the source of this, we want to reference our recipe param. So we'll say recipe like this. And because we have everything properly typed, we should now see all the different properties we have on this param. So what we want to do is select the image. And then just to save some time, I'm going to paste in the remaining properties that we want to add to this component. So for the sizes, we're going to have an extra small breakpoint with 100 VW, a small breakpoint of 50 VW. And then once we get to the large screen, we're going to set this image to be 400 pixels. We're also going to change the format to be WebP, and then we're going to set the density to be 1x. And then as you'll be able to see inside of the application, we now have all those images being displayed for our recipe cards. Now, if we take a look at one of the images that we have using the Nuxt image component, you can see we do have all the URLs being properly formatted for our different breakpoints. However, if you look at the intrinsic size, you can see that they are all 1000 by 1000, and they're not being converted to what we had set them to within the Nuxt image component. Now, the reason why these aren't being transformed is because in the previous image that we transformed, they were all local to our project. Now, these images are coming from the dummy JSON API, so what we need to do is let the Nuxt image component know that we can transform images from this specific domain. Now, to configure this, what we can do is inside of the Nuxt config file, we can define the image property for the Nuxt image component, and then we can define a property called domains, which accepts an array. And then as a string, we can pass in our domain, which is going to be this right here. And this will allow us to transform images coming from this domain. So if we save this and take a look inside of our application now, you can see these are properly being transformed. Now for the remainder of a recipe card, we want to replace all the static text with data from our recipe param. So first off, we have the recipe name. So what we want to do is we want to replace this, and we're going to use much test syntax. And we want to reference our param of recipe, and then we want to access the property called name. And for the remaining three that we need to update to speed things up, I'm just going to copy and paste those in. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is that this is the first file that we're going to be using the Nuxt icon module in. Now, how this module works is there is a component called icon. Now, this component is automatically imported for us, as all components within Nuxt are, and it accepts a mandatory or required prop called name. And how this prop works is we first want to define the library that this icon is from, followed by the icon name. Now over on Iconify, they make this very easy to implement. So once you find the icon that you want to use, you can just select on it from within the list. And we're going to have a nice pop-up which gives us a lot of information on how we can implement this icon. So as you can see, they have a whole bunch of different components, but the first option is going to be view. And then all we want to do is we can just copy the whole component and paste it into our Nuxt application. Now, the only thing that we're going to have to change ourselves is that since we are using the Nuxt icon module, instead of it accepting the icon prop, we just want to update this to name. Now, back inside of our application, if we take a look, we should now have our recipe cards fully populated with all the correct information.